Hello everyone. So today what I wanted to cover is to do an installation on Infrahub and to quickly import what I have in my NetBox to Infrahub so that I can start playing around with it. And because on the beginning, our Infrahub is completely empty and I wanted to do a walkthrough doing this configuration. So this is the phase once you first install your Infrahub, you see that it comes completely empty and we have to create the schemas and everything that we're going to work around with it. So two things first, it has to create the artifacts that we're going to use. And we have just the installation, quick one here. On the Infrahub documentation, you have the introduction, getting started, quick start, right? So, but if we go down here, it has on the deploy management, the installation for the community. So what I'm doing basically is grabbing this Docker Compose, and what we did was to put the Infrahub up, right? So I created here the Docker Compose. Two things only is that I created this M to create my admin initial password and a token, right? So that I can control it easily and we're going to work with it from the start. So two things that can make our life easier from the beginning is to install here. We have a command line utility called Infrahub CTL, right? So we're going to install this. This is to help us doing the management of Infrahub. And we have to set this Infrahub address, our token, and the branch. Or we can configure here the Infrahub CTL.toml. So I already have configured here the Infrahub CTL.toml, right? First of all, Infrahub already gives us a schema library that we can install some collections that are already pre-designed for us, so can streamline the infrastructure that we're going to build. So I want to quickly use what they already have there. We can check here on this Infrahub schema library, right? So we're going to clone this schema library, right? We clone this and cd there, cd schema library, right? And one thing I'm going to do is to copy this Infrahub CTL inside here, because we're going to use the CTL from every time we have to authenticate against our Infrahub, right? So we're on the schema library. Two things already that we have to do is to install here the base. So you see that we have the DCM, IPAM, location, organization. This creates for us the nodes that we're going to use. So you see manufacturer, provider, the devices, like here, device, the device type, platform, right? Some of this really feels similar to what we currently have in NetBox. We're going to run UV. Naturally, you have to have UV installed. We're going to do UV sync. We have already defined project, right? So we have the VM UV run Infrahub CTL, and let's call for help. And we should see everything that we have here. So if we go on the Infrahub CTL, schema load, clear, Infrahub UV run Infrahub CTL, schema load, and we're going to load this base, right? Base. Let's see if this will work. Since we already have our Infrahub CTL.toml, it will properly log in our Infrahub, and it should work without much problems. Yeah, you see, so we loaded here, and we can now see, hopefully, let's see, yeah, we have some, the objects created, right? So the network device, of course, yeah, we have to log in. Admin, I think, admin in the by default admin and the password that we created that will do the override. So we see here everything that was already created based on this default that is on the base for the schema library, right? So now we have to convert from our NetBox instance to populate this information. I want the devices, the IP addresses, and all this good stuff. Okay, so first of all, we also need something else. Besides the base, they have some extensions, meaning they have already created for specific use cases some other models, right? So you see for DWDM, lag, routing with OSPF, PIM, and so on. What I want also now is the location minimal. We can put here schema load, and we're going to specify extensions, and we're going to grab the location minimal, right? Let's say like this. Yep. So 9 seconds, and we got that. Some of them, for example, if you want to install the routing, probably you have to install some prerequisites here. So it's something for us to take care, to check it, right? So let's see if we have, yeah, now we have the location. And all right, so we have the model I want to bring from the NetBox. And for that, they have also another library called Infrahub Sync, right? So we can install here this Infrahub Sync, right? So you see here. So first thing, what I'm going to do is come back one directory. Let me UV them. I'll create a different environment here for me because this is going to be like, okay, UV add Infrahub Sync. UV net. Oh, okay, we're going to go from here. UV add Infrahub Sync. Yeah, okay, so there we go. Infrahub Sync, and we're going to go for help. All right, so in here, we need to create this sync instance, right? So we're going to define from where we are going to get the information, like our source, and the destination that is going to be our Infrahub. And then we're going to define the synchronization order that we're going to create this schema mapping, right? So, for example, we're going to map the devices to this schema on Infrahub, and we're going to do the mapping for each of the information that we can get from the API. Okay, so for us, it's going to be important eventually, if you want to dig deeper, to understand your schema that is based here on the schema library that we imported, or the one that you created customized. Otherwise, I created here this Infrahub sync netbox, right, and the config. So I added here my netbox, the source, my Infrahub destination, and something simple with what we currently have. We're going to grab the organization, the location, platform, device type, IP address, devices, and the interface on each device, with the minimum for us to get started, right? So what we're going to do is this Infrahub sync, right? We're going to generate, and it asks for some information. So first we need the name of the sync that we're going to use. I'm using this frame netbox, right? So let's go name. This is the name and the directory. We're on this Infrahub sync netbox, right? This is the directory. It's going to look here and it's going to try to do the synchronization, right? So it generated, you see like two folders here. It creates like this proper sync adapters for each one. And we're going to run then, instead of generate, we're going to run the sync, right? So sync, and there we go. And we have already no modules, right? So we have to add here to our UV add requests. And I think it's going to miss another one, the Pi netbox. Yes. UV add Pi netbox, right? Okay, this should be enough. And from there, we're going to do the synchronization, blah, 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 and model creation. And we should be coding, hopefully, 25%. Let's see. Yep, so the OS, iOS, I already did some conversion here on the device type. That's what we're going to use for the NetNico. The manufacturers, right? So Cisco, let's see, device types. Yeah, created some of them, what I currently have in NetBox. And let's see if we have already the devices. Yeah, so we see for devices, same as here, with the primary IP, the location that they are, the platform, device type. If we go to one of them, it should be already populated with the interfaces. Yeah, there it is. So the interfaces, here we're only using two kinds, either physical interface or virtual one, right? So pretty standard, but at least from here, we can already start, IPAM addresses, sorry. We can already start to play around. We have our devices, device types, the platforms, and the IPs, right? So that will be it for today. I will leave for an easy access this config YAML. That is the one that I used, you see, to 25 seconds, that I used to do the synchronization based on the initial Infrahub schema library, just the base. That should be at least for you to get started quickly and take a look, right? Then we're going to go on next videos, digging deeper, trying to understand how this was built, how to customize, and there you go, moving on, right? Thank you guys so much, and see you on the next one.